Are you over the age of 35 and a female and you are feeling bloated, you're tired, you have cravings, you're brain fog, and you're not sure what is going on with you every day? This could be a sign of you being in perimenopause. And today I have a special guest, Michelle Bailey, who is a functional nutritional coach. She is a personal trainer and has over 20 years of experience in this wellness and fitness industry. She's going to be helping us break down this whole mystery around perimenopause. Hey there, and welcome to the Own Your Brand show. It's your girl, Victoria Odekomaya, a former drug scientist turned brand photographer and strategist. I am passionate about helping female entrepreneurs and leaders, aka boss ladies, build a bankable personal brand. In my many years working with boss ladies, I found that the problem isn't the lack of expertise. The problem is not knowing how to show up confidently so you can attract the right people effortlessly. This is why we end up spending time chasing the algorithm and keeping up with marketing trends that we have no business doing. Listen, I have created this show so I can share with you the roadmap and give you actionable steps to help you build the brand and business you've always dreamed about. Plus, because we wear multiple hats, yes, we do, ladies, I'm bringing on additional experts to help us grow in our personal, physical, and spiritual lives. If you're ready to stop struggling and start flourishing in your God-given calling, girl, you are in the right place. So buckle up and let's go. Hey, and welcome to the Own Your Brand show. If you're new here, I'm Victoria Odekomaya, and my goal is to help you build a brand and a business that you've always dreamed of. So if you're suffering from any of these perimenopausal symptoms and it's stopping you from building your brand and working on your business, you're in for a treat today. It's going to be a great session. So without much ado, let's get into it. Hey, Michelle, how are you doing today?
Hi, Victoria. I'm doing well. How are you today?
I am doing very well. I'm very
Good.
excited about today because I am not a guinea pig, but I feel like this topic really, really impacts me so much, so it's near and dear to my heart. I started my business full time this year, January, but last year and the year before, I was a side hustle. I was doing it as a side hustle. And I think that me being 40 last year, I hit that point where I was having a lot of the symptoms that I spoke of earlier on, and I didn't understand what was going on. I feel like I was a lot older than I am. I just didn't understand my body. But I thank God for you because when I met you, you helped me understand a lot of these symptoms. And I know we just I jumped on one of your master class a couple of days ago where you were talking about this. So I cannot wait for you to share some of this with everyone else because I feel like we don't even talk a lot about this topic of perimenopause. Do you? Well, you do. You probably talk about it because that's what you do.
Yes, it is something that we like to shy away from. I don't know if we are embarrassed by it or if there is this stigma behind perimenopause means I'm getting old. Listen,
Mm,
for us to even get to the point of being in our 30s, 40s, or 50s is a
mhm.
blessing from the
It
Father
is.
above. So
Absolutely.
just get that sense of negativity out of your mind because
Mhm.
every day above ground allows us to be able to do things to help us live better.
That's
So,
great. Yeah,
being
that's good.
grateful and thankful for life is important.
Yes. Thank you so much for just setting that up, really good there. One of the things that you mentioned at your Master U class, which was amazing, by the way, was
Thank
that,
you.
you know, um, perimenopause it's the second phase of the
Yes.
menopause cycle. Just help us understand that,
Yes.
how
All
many
right.
phases do we have? 'Cause
Well, let's kind of break this down. The
okay.
menopausal cycle or life cycle of life is just that. So when we say we're in menopause, I like to ask the question, which phase?
Mm,
In ladies, women out there, we all have a menopause cycle, and it starts off with the pre-menopause. Premenopause is in our early age, puberty, when we just now start our menstrual cycle and we're in the
I,
bearing age. We're having fun, living our lives,
I
enjoying
remember
life.
those days.
But sometimes during that time of that stage of the life cycle, sometimes we might have little issues. We
Mm,
may have a lot of cramping, or we might have
mm,
PMS symptoms. We might even experience constipation, for instance, and some bloating before our menstrual. But it doesn't seem as a worry that time, because when we're
mhm.
younger, we're moving, we're doing a lot of different things. So it doesn't really hamper everything that we do, but some
Right.
people had issues with it. So, for example,
Yeah.
for myself, I've been with endometriosis since I was probably 14, and I needed to figure out what it
Wow.
was. Nobody knew what it was. The requirements was just do birth control, make sure
Mm,
you're eating lots of fiber, and
mm,
that was it. But that wasn't enough for me to figure out what was going on.
right.
So
Wow.
peri or pre-menopause is the first stage. It's the regular menstrual cycle, and you should have no noticeable symptoms of menopause. Estrogen production, which is one of the hormones in our sexual hormones, is
Mhm.
very high. Hence the reason for us to have our cycle and for us to be able to bear children. All right.
Right.
So
Right.
perimenopause, which is the second stage, is the transitional stage. It's considered a transitional stage because there is no set time frame to have this. The
Okay.
average American woman, it you in perimenopause when you're in your 40s or late 40s, but in
Mhm.
the last several years, some people may start perimenopause even in their 20s,
Wow.
late 20s. And research has been looking at that as something, as an issue, because they're relating it to the things that they eat. And we
Oh,
will get
wow.
into that a little bit later on. Um,
Right.
Knowing that you're in perimenopause, some of the symptoms that you might find are a lot of people talk about hot flashes.
Mhm.
All
Mhm.
right.
My mom talks about that a lot.
Yes, night sweat. So you're sleeping, and all of a sudden you can't stay under the covers. You have to take the covers off, and
Mhm.
then 1 minute you cool again, so you put the covers back on.
Right. You know what I've been doing lately with that is like I put the covers on, but then I leave the covers off of my feet.
Right, that's what I do. Well, I was never accustomed to using blankets, so for me, I don't do that. And
Okay.
I'm actually I've never really had hot flashes.
Oh,
But
wow.
with perimenopause, those are the
Mhm.
common symptoms that you'll find. It's like the hot flashes, brain fog,
Mm.
bloatedness, not feeling to eat, nausea. All right.
Wow.
Those are
Mm.
some of the common symptoms, but there are other uncommon symptoms, such as cold flashes. And guess who had cold
Whoa.
flashes? Me.
Wow. Cold. I've
Because I
never
am
heard that
never
one
hot.
before.
I love hot.
Wow.
I'm never hot. So cold
Wow.
flashes, which is one of the unusual symptoms, is out there. How about itchy skin, itchy dry skin? Um,
Wow.
for me, I got that because I've never had issues with skin
Wow.
until this time in my life. Especially, and for me, I'm from the Caribbean, and coming to the
Mhm.
US, the cold winters, my skin goes crazy.
Right. Oh my.
So for me, it's the dry skin, dry itchy skin, um, cold cold sweats, cold flashes, versus hot flashes, and there are
Mhm.
other things you may have, digestive issues. So
Mm.
all of a sudden you're having more bloating or even constipation. So these are some of the signs that you may find during perimenopause. And I've used the age range of about 35 to 65, looking
Okay.
at seeing various symptoms popping up. And this is because your estrogen hormone production slows down during this time. So if estrogen is slowing down, that means it's the good estrogen, because there are different types of estrogen. But if it's slowing down, there's going to be that irregulation of your menstrual. So other hormones are being affected, your progesterone in
Mm-hmm.
your sexual hormones. But guess what? We have hormones other places, like your thyroid. If that's having a
Okay.
problem, some people get
Wow.
hypothyroidism versus hyperthyroidism. So
See.
that is another place you could find issues happening. Also, blood sugar levels
Oh my God.
spiking or getting too low. So insulin, that's another type of hormone that is being affected during this time of your life.
Wow.
All right. So all these things are going through a storm or imbalance during perimenopause.
Okay. That's a
And that's the
lot to
second,
take in.
yeah, that's the second phase. We didn't even get to the other two phases,
Okay,
because
so
menopause is four
mm,
stages of pre, peri, and then we have menopause stage and
uh-huh.
post-menopause stage.
Okay. 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 Wait a minute, because this is a lot already. And I think that for me, thank you so much for breaking that down, really, because I think it's helpful to clarify that,
Yes.
because I always thought that, and I think a lot of people do think the same, like, it's first of all, I didn't know that there was multiple phases, but then we always talk about you get mature, you start, having all this, growing the growth spurt as a woman and a
Mhm.
young kid, and then liberty. I mean, what do you call it
Puberty.
now? Puberty. I said liberty.
Yes.
Puberty. You go through puberty, but
Well,
then also you look forward to menopause after the whole childbearing thing.
mhm.
So this in between stage is not so much talked about, and there's a lot of changes happening in our
Yeah.
bodies throughout this time frame. But then also as a woman, this is the time of your life, our lives, where we're figuring out who we are even more, because now we're grown up, we're starting our businesses, we're starting to really live life,
Yes.
and all of a sudden you're beginning to feel all this emotion. You're either wanting to eat so much, like, I look, the food is the thing I have to stay away from, and then the constipation, and then the headaches, and all of these things. And it's hard, because sometimes even when you're trying to walk out, and you think you're trying to do all of these things, I think that understanding what's going on in our body is so important, to know how to even go about fixing it. So tell me, Michelle, how does the whole, what we eat, how we move, the exercise, how does that relate to, those whole perimenopausal stage?
Thank you so much for asking that question, because it's a pivotal point in understanding what symptoms you have versus what you should be doing.
Okay.
And it's a lot. As you've heard, it's a lot to deal with if you're not sure what's going on. And most of the times we would run to the doctor to help
Mhm.
us balance things out. And
Right.
sometimes that is looking for a quick fix, because we go and
Mm.
get medication. We get, as I said, when I was in pre-menopause, I was prescribed birth control, but that didn't fix
Mhm.
anything. I still had endometriosis.
Wow.
And knowing that that didn't fix anything, it leaves me to wonder, why should we live like that? Why live
Mhm.
through the perimenopause with these issues? And what brought me to learning more about this is looking at gut health.
Mm.
Gut
Gut health.
health,
Tell me.
yes.
Okay.
Gut health is pivotal and so important to us knowing what's going on inside us. Do you know
Mm.
that 10,000, no, let me say this right. We have the human microbiota, which is the microbiomes, is the living cells in our body that helps us live better or
Okay.
worse. And in the human body, the microbiota consists of 10 to 100 trillion
Whoa.
symbiotic microbiomes. And these are
Okay.
cells. Now,
Okay.
these cells in our human cells or host cells is only
Mm-hmm.
a third of that. And
Mm.
of these biota, it's 30 trillion of it lives in our gut.
Wow.
And it
Okay.
does a lot of work to
What?
help us stay
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do they do? What is the function of those?
right. So the microbiota in the human body, or a combination of fungus, bacteria
Okay.
that is in our body. It's a large combination of different types of bacteria, good and
Mm-hmm.
bad, as well as fungi and different things to help our body stay in balance to keep us healthy.
Right.
And the way we get good bacteria is by consuming food.
Right. Mm.
But we can also get good bacteria by actually just being outside in nature.
Mm. And we need to do more of those
Yes,
because the technology sometimes can stop us
yes,
from doing some of that.
right. But then we also have in our environment bad bacterias,
Yeah.
viruses,
Mhm.
parasites that can enter into our system. So that
Right.
also enters through our skin, all right, or
Hmm.
even through the food that we eat.
Right.
And sometimes you will see lots of videos showing on TikTok and wherever showing you what you could find in Cheetos, what parasites you could find in Cheetos, or what parasites might be lurking on your berries if you don't wash it properly. And sometimes
Mm-hmm.
these things enter into our system. But
Right.
we have to know that there are ways that our body fights off these bad bacteria. And if it's not healthy enough, it may win, that is the bad bacteria, and then go through our bloodstream, through our small intestines, which is really what they call the gut.
Mm-hmm.
And once it goes through our bloodstream, there are things that can be influenced, meaning the organs in our system can be influenced by these bad bacteria causing symptoms such as, for example, bloating,
Mm.
such as migraine, such as nausea, constipation, um, itchy, dry skin, irritations. I could even go further into deficiencies or even diseases such as diabetic problems, Hashimoto's, endometriosis. So you see
Wow.
how it builds up symptoms,
Right.
and
Right.
then we end up into the disease. So we get a deficiency, and then it can become a disease, but we can stop it by looking
Right.
at the nutrition we eat.
I like that. I like that because now putting on my drug development hat,
Mhm.
a lot of the times when we're making a lot of the drugs, we're thinking about curing a disease that is already there. But
Mhm.
from your point of view, you're trying to help us not get the disease if we can so help it by
Correct.
helping our bodies, put the right things in our bodies.
Yes.
Mm,
So, and it's not only just putting the right things in our bodies, but it is also knowing that movement plays a huge role.
mm,
Learning that chronic stress can create that storm.
right.
Also knowing that if we're not having enough sleep can
Mm,
create that storm as well. So there are variables that can create the storm in our body, causing these inflammatory issues, because most of them, it's tied up to inflammatory situations. Endometriosis is inflammatory.
mm-hmm,
Thyroid problems, inflammatory. Bloating, inflammatory. So how it becomes inflammatory, so for instance, if these
mm-hmm,
bad bacteria come and break the, so our gut has a lining, And if it
Okay.
is,
Right.
it breaks that lining because it's not in the right form or compound form. It ends up creating that leaky gut syndrome, weakening the walls of the stomach and the small intestines. If that's happening, then when it enters our bloodstream, our really good T cells, and I love this because I remember my son showing me this video and explaining this to me, and I'm like, I'm studying that same thing right this minute. You showed me this from a. He's like, yeah, mommy, I got this from Storybots. I'm like, oh my god, and he's explaining the whole issue about how we get viruses and how we get sick. But there's the
Look
same
at
thing.
that.
Our T cells,
Mm-hmm.
those are the ones that want to protect us. So if, for
Right.
example, you get a cut on your hand,
Right.
the minute you get a cut, you get swelling, it turns red, right? And that
Yes.
is your body, the T cells, healing it. That
Right.
is what's happening inside. So if it is this bad compound or parasite gets latched on to your pancreas, for example,
Mm-hmm.
your T cells are going to try to attack it. But it's
Right.
attacking it, which is attached to the pancreas. And now this is going to create a problem. It's going to have
Mm.
inflammation in that area. So then sometimes we have people get pancreatitis, or they might have a gallbladder problem. And it's because anytime you say itis, it's a inflammatory situation.
Right.
And there are three root causes to many of the symptoms, and I call it the branches. There are three root causes that can create these branches to spread, or these symptoms to spread. And it's the digestive system,
Okay.
inflammation, and your genetic makeup.
Mm.
And we
Yeah,
get
because
our genetic makeup from in the womb of your mother,
right.
and how your mother body helps kill off bacteria, whatever state your mom's body was in when you were in the womb, that is what you get in.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's what your genetical makeup is to be able to help you fight these different bacteria and problems. So for me, it may be endometriosis, but for somebody else, it might be diabetes. And that might be their weakest link. For
Right.
somebody else, it might be migraines.
Hmm.
That's their weakest link. So it's things affect everybody differently.
Okay. So we've talked about how these problems happen. Is there hope? And what can we do to fix it?
Yes, there
Good.
is hope. We have to remember, if God created us, He created other things to help us stay healthy.
I love that. Yes.
So if we are created and the human being still trying to figure out a lot of things about the body. A matter of fact, the research that I've been looking into, they they've been researching since in the 1960s, the 1920s, and
Wow.
mentioning about gut microbiome and the importance of it since then.
Mm.
Socrates, they was talking about it since then, and they still didn't know. And it's only in the last 10 to 15 years they started doing more research on it around
Wow.
the world. And it's coming to the point where they're trying to understand that the gut microbiome is the most important thing to stay healthy, so that you can be able to digest when you do eat the food. It can come through the bloodstream in
Hmm.
the right form that we need to help us stay healthy. But the
Okay.
only way we can eat healthy food for it to get to our bloodstreams and help us is by healing our gut first. And that's the
Mm.
thing that I am always talking about with my well being chef program. The
Wow.
four
Okay.
keys.
Sorry, I was going to get into that because
Yeah.
I completely, I remember reading that. Well, actually, don't remember. You put that article in the Boss Ladies magazine about the four keys to well-being shift.
Mhm.
And tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So the four keys of well-being shift is my coin wording towards what ACSM certification, they say it's the lifestyle medicine versus functional medicine. Doctors call it NES, which is nutrition, exercise, stress, sleep, and looking how those variables work together. I look at the well being shift that of functional movement, functional nutrition, mindset building, and community building. And
Mm.
combining these four helps us to look at all these other areas in terms of helping ourselves live better. I would say the whole you becoming the well you.
Love that.
So we look at the nutrition. I always like to start off looking at nutrition and trying to hone in on resetting our digestive system.
Mm.
Simple thing like how we mechanically break down the food in the mouth plays a huge role in how it can be digested even more in the stomach, even
Mm-hmm.
in the small intestines. And we're not giving the liver too much work to do because the liver has to break down
The
proteins and
food.
fats.
Right.
But if we chew it right, it's going to be a problem. So that's something I like to teach people about learning how
Mm-hmm.
to eat right.
Right.
My other coin phrase is all healthy foods is not healthy foods for you.
I like that too.
Because
Because
if you have a leaky gut,
mm,
a weak microbiome, a weak wall, stomach, and if you have low hydrochloric acid in your stomach, you can eat all the healthy food you want. It is not going to digest because you are not in balance. And a
wow.
simple thing like drinking enough water to help with your hydrochloric acid levels is important.
Wow.
Somebody might say they have acid reflux and that they've been suffering with acid reflux. That's something in perimenopause, people have acid reflux. But also, if you have gut issues, an ailing gut, you can also have acid reflux. So
Wow.
if we fix the gut first, guess what? The acid reflux will go away.
Wow. Okay. So how do we fix the gut?
Lovely question.
Okay.
By eating the right nutrition,
Okay.
by exercising,
Mm.
by reducing stress, and
Mm.
mindful of what you're doing and what you're putting
Wow.
into your body.
Mm.
And also encouraging good quality sleep.
Mm.
They all
Wow.
work in tandem.
That's good. Michelle, I know that, I mean, everything you just said sounds good. Really, really good. Eating healthy, the exercises, the sleep, stress, and things like that. But in the real world,
Hmm.
as a woman that has kids and juggling, trying to, make an impact, building a business, like how do I put all of this together? Like how can we make this easy? Where do I even start from?
Right.
You know.
This is where I have created the well-being shift program. Learning to and realizing that you can't do it all is important.
Okay.
We all have gifts. And if you're the businesswoman and you're doing your branding and marketing, you're doing your podcasting, but you have your family and you have so much things going on, but you're still having hot flashes, you're still having bloating, and you need help.
Hmm.
I am here to help you, coach you through how you can still have all of these other variables going on and adding in some balance with
Mm.
the right foods to eat, with the right amount of workouts you need to do. Because I'm pretty sure you've seen online, you don't have to work out 2 hours in the gym to get the
Right.
results that you're looking for.
Well, because we don't even have the time to
You
work
don't
out 2 hours in a year.
No, we don't.
Just to be honest, right? Yeah.
Right. Or you might, I would love to be in nature every single day, but then what can we do in our house? By inviting in plants,
Mm,
plants that purify your home,
I
snake
love that.
plants. You know,
Yeah.
there are different plants that you can have in your home. All right. I have created this 20-week program in which step by step we are going to move forward trying to make the whole you the well you through
Love that.
nutrition. For example, starting off with my cleanse to reset the body, and then moving on to a 6 weeks program of movement, nutrition, mindset building. This is really pivotal because I've created this 6 weeks program itemizing and helping you reset your body as well as your mind while still getting a little 20-minute workout in.
Yes. I like that too because actually, full disclosure, I am doing the program right now. We are currently going on doing the cleanse.
Yes,
So I can testify to how this is already helping me just get
great,
better every day.
great.
So Michelle, for those people that I mean, this program I know is also you're offering this program virtually. So for those
Mhm.
that may be listening, outside of where we are right now in Indiana, like how can they get their hands on these resources that you have? Because you also have a lot of free information to get people started, to help
Yes,
them learn about all of this, these different aspects of nutrition, gut and exercising, stress
yes,
management, and mindset. So like how can they get a hold of some of these resources or even contact you?
great. Once you have Google or Apple Store,
I love that.
you can download my app. My app, you would look for, if you look behind me, you would see a QR code. You could actually just scan that QR code right now and you can download my app. And there you would get the started with the information that I've already shared and much more.
Mm,
You are able to go through some of the free programs that I have offered. And I also would like for you to connect with me through a questionnaire on the app. So just download the app. You're going to see all the information you need. If you don't have time right now to sign up via that QR code, all you have to do is enter FXWB in your Apple or Google Play Store, and you would
mhm.
see my app there. There is where I share pretty much all this information and much more.
Right. And
The,
I know you also have a podcast,
yes.
where you share a lot of good information too. So I'll put
Mhm.
all that links in the description so that people can get a hold of you because I feel like you're onto something and you are really trying to help us live a whole life. And I say this also too, Michelle, because as a drug development scientist, and I've done this for 17 years, we really try to cure. Our goal is to help with a disease that's already there.
Right.
But I really believe that we need to be stopping a lot of these symptoms, a lot of these, illnesses before it starts. And that's why I really appreciate the work that you do. That's really why I appreciate the work and the resources and the information that you're putting out there. Because if more people learn that and do all of that ahead of time,
Yes.
then we would have fewer sick people.
Yes. It's always good to be able to deal with a deficiency.
Mhm.
It's like a three-tier system. If you
Right.
see the symptoms happening, we can actually help it by doing some non-negotiables. Non-negotiables is, and some people might say, Michelle, you're crazy. But no, this is how you try to help your body. Some of the non-negotiables is not drinking coffee.
Hmm. And that's going to be a hard one, but
Uh-huh.
we can do
Yes.
it. We can do it. If we
Yes,
put
we
our heart
can.
to doing it, we can.
Yes. Another one is not eating gluten.
Mm.
Dairy is another one. But people will be like, Michelle, so then what am I going to eat? I drink coffee every day. I'm like, yes, but do you have food sensitivities? Yeah, or do you have acid reflux? Or are you constipated? Or are you bloated? What we
Mm,
have to do is remove stuff for a short period of time. I didn't say you do this all the time. Hence the
right.
reason my cleanses, I like to call it a vacation from
Hmm.
eating all the foods that you eat. It's just for a short period of time to kind of give your body a little rest and time to reset and restore itself.
Yeah,
But
because the body can heal itself.
it the liver is the only organ that can heal itself completely,
Mm,
even if it's damaged.
wow.
And the way we heal it is by making sure that we eat the right things to help it. Green leafy vegetables, all the berries. But then, not if you already have food sensitivities, is needing to know what's right for you.
Mm.
That's where the difference comes in. It's not just, oh yeah, Michelle said to eat the greens. So let me look at all these greens and go eat all of it.
Might
No,
not work for you,
it may
but
not. It might actually create more problems because, for instance, if you're constipated and you start, oh well, I need to drink, I need to eat all these chard and all the celery and everything, all the green leafy vegetables. Sometimes, if you're putting in too much fiber and you're already constipated and backed up, you're actually creating more problems for your body because it
oh
can't
wow.
break it down. If
Oh
you already
yeah.
have a leaky gut, it can't break it down. So guess what? Your colon keep getting backing up, and now you have more toxins in your body.
Oh well, we don't want that.
No, we don't want that. We're supposed to be getting rid of it, right? So we don't want coming up.
Right.
Hence the reason why you're getting the acid reflux in the first place, because everything just coming back up.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we want to be able to nip it in the bud as a deficiency stage, so that we don't get to the point where we have a disease stage.
Right. Oh
And even
wow.
if we get to the disease, so for example, diabetics, type 2
Hmm.
diabetes, you can get rid of it because there are physical workouts that you can do, and obviously nutritional things that you need to do to be able to balance your blood sugar levels. It can be
Yeah.
done. It's just we have to take our time, and it is not a quick fix. You have to do it for a time frame. Hence the reason the program that I am introducing is for 5 months, 20 weeks. Stick with it. And believe you me, you're going to feel so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so good. So I want to leave on this note that our bodies, like I think one of the things that you said, and I would love for everyone to remember here also is that, obviously we can eat a lot of these things, but we have to remember that, or let me at least the cutting part back of it. You have to remember that we give our body a vacation period, you
Yes,
know, so that it can heal itself. It can, do all of the things that needs to get rid of all the toxins in our bodies and then reintroduce it at the right proportion. And
correct.
Michelle can support with
Slowly.
that.
Yes,
Hmm.
because then you want to be able to know what actually am I really sensitive to? What am I actually allergic to, so that I would be mindful that, yeah, I am not supposed to be eating broccoli
Right.
because I'm still sensitive to it.
Broccoli. Oh my
Or
God.
I really like oats, but I'm actually sensitive to oats.
Mm.
Or I really like fried chicken, but that the outer coating on the fried chicken is what bothering me.
Mm.
So if you, and this is why I'm saying it's a vacation. When you do a cleanse, it's a vacation, because you could still go back to eating some of the things, but now you have to be mindful what may be damaging you, and
Right.
if not more so what your body can't handle just yet.
Right. And this is an individual plan too. It's not a
Yeah.
one size fits all for
No.
everybody.
No,
Mm.
I do have in that 20 weeks, the last 90 days is where we kind of hone in on that, looking at individually, looking at what's going on with you, what have been your triggers or your antecedents before in terms of your family background versus what's going on with you, with your levels of stress, with the levels of sleep that you're getting, and learning how to create an action plan specifically for you at that point in time. So for 3 months, We're working together and we're tracking. You have to track this information
Mhm.
to be able to see, okay, is this working for me? Or actually, Michelle, this is not working at all by the second or third day. And learning how to balance things off. Because actually, sometimes when you're trying to be healthier, some people have um, medical issues start to pop up,
Oh, wow.
or they have withdrawal symptoms, or things
Mhm.
just seem
Um,
more, it seems like if it's like a more toxic situation, but it's rather your
mhm.
body is actually fighting what is normally doing, but you trying to
Right.
heal it. So the things that are out there are lots of things that we can use naturally to heal our bodies. There may be the need to supplement, but I always go to, have you been eating? What have you been eating? Let's try eating the right things. And half the times, you don't even need supplementing.
Yeah. Wow, that is so good. Thank you so much, Michelle. I think that I've learned a lot today, and I feel like this has been a very, very informational session. And also, thank you for being very, resourceful, and also providing those resources for us to get more information.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I just want you all to know that you are special and you are unique.
Yes.
But there is always the opportunity to learn more to help yourself live better.
I
And
love that.
don't be afraid. That's why I am trying to come alongside with you, for you not to get overwhelmed. Because I shared with Victoria just starting to cleanse. And she's like, Michelle, this is too much information. I'm like, I know it is.
Yeah.
But I don't want you to look at everything. I just want you to look at this specific area that's going to
Mm,
start you off. Don't get overwhelmed because there's a lot of information out there on the internet. As a matter of fact, you could go Google everything that I just said. But
mhm.
what is specific for you is important. And the only way you can
Right.
figure that out is looking at your background, looking at what your roots are, creating whatever branches you have going on right now, and being able to
Mhm.
balance it off. And that's what I'm here for.
That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you
You
so
are
much.
welcome.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to put all of the links in the comments so that you can really, get in and get some of that information and reach out to Michelle. But until next time, please take time to look at your health, because even though we're trying to build a brand and a business of our dreams, if our health is not up to par, that makes it extremely difficult. So take the moment to think about some of what we've talked about today and take action. Until next time, keep building yourself and your brand.